If you have the Isles of Siptah DLC and have been ignoring the Elder Vaults on Conan Exiles, you should probably get on over here because it's totally worth your time. Do note that this guide is just showing you the location and what armor, weapons, if any, from the vaults you get, plus also the decorations, but most worthily, the sigils that you can farm up and actually stack. A quick rundown for you that might not be so familiar. On Conan Exiles, we used to be able to stack many buffs of food of different varieties. We could take a strength buff and an agility buff and a whatever buff all at the same time, plus also potions, and we could have many buffs, and it was a little bit crazy. Then they took that away, and you may now have one potion and one food buff. Meaning if I was to now eat an agility buff food, it would overwrite this guy. But sigils are a little bit different. Not only can you take them and not override your other stats, but you can consume multiple and they will all stack together. And they will also not decrease in time like your regular potions and food. You actually have to die and they're not all going to disappear. It'll just randomly pick a few. And as you can see, some of these are very worthy. And if you ever want to know what a sigil does without having to consume it, you can go more info and it will actually tell you, like the Gremlin sigil from the vault behind us will give us recovery of resources extra. So it'll just boost it. And yes, it does work in correlation with the efficient harvest and the hard worker. So it's usually one of the vaults I come to visit first, especially if you need Ica, because these goblin horns or divulged harpy feathers or whichever dungeon you go to, if you harvest the guys, you can get multiple of them with some of those different attribute perks and that goblin sigil active. And when put into a squisher, they're going to give you 10 Ica per. So they do add up pretty dang quickly. And you might notice that we don't have a huge amount of variety of them because a lot of the dungeons actually have a twin, so to speak. So they'll have very similar mobs at them that'll drop the same type of this thing. So we have a couple of goblin vaults. We have a couple of harpy vaults, for instance. There are a few spider vaults. You will learn the same armor and weapons and decorations from all the respective vaults. So like if you go to the Refuge of the Gremlin and the Refuge of the Goblinoids, they're both going to drop the same armor, the insignia, the decorations, and the weapons. But they will drop a different sigil, making it worth visiting all of the vaults. If you are after some resources, I highly advise bringing a pick and a sickle, as you'll often find metal, brimstone, black ice, crystal, golds and silver. And at some vaults you can find things like lotus and even gossamer. If you do want a full run of all of the dungeons, check out my separate independent guides on all of them that goes into all of the mobs dropping stuff, all the hitty boxes, all of that stuff, what you can expect from the end boss. It's just a lot for one guide. So in this one, I'm just focusing on what they give you and where they at. And different vaults have different mobs, obviously, and some have a better chance at dropping things like the decaying Eldarium than other ones. And you'll get used to which ones you can be bothered killing all the mobs at or not if you're farming Eldarium. Because of that harvesting sigil, like I said, I usually start off with this vault, the Refuge of the Gremlins in 7H. No, people hate it when I say H. Now, I never actually managed to find this recipe, and if you wanted it and you look at my independent guide, I more than most likely also have not found it. But if you look closely on the ground, you can sometimes find a thing that looks like their divulged chunk, and you can get a trophy for it. It's going to look different depending on what dungeon you're in, obviously. You can also get the goblin statue or any type of vault statue. This one looking like the ones from outside of the goblin vault. The insignias are very easy to find, usually right by the door, but you can have a pretty little plaque for your wall. The aspect of the Goblinoid is quite a nice little medium armor piece. It's got 143 armor and it's got Gremlin digestion, meaning when you eat raw food and you're under food poisoning buff, you're going to get an armor buff. I believe it's 50 and it will last the duration of the food poisoning. So you just continue munging on raw food, getting a little bit more armor. And these stats will obviously be a little bit better depending on the armor you craft them with. The better the armorer's bench you make it in, the less it's also going to cost. In an improved, it is 6 Eldarium. And in a garrison it only costs 4, so definitely use a garrison if you can. They also take a really long time to craft, so don't need them in a hurry. That goes for all vaults armors. Also, not really sure what's going on with the armor displays there, but all of my armor dudes had to get a random top put on them, so that's why they're all wearing a random top, in case you're wondering. The hands of the Goblinoid do have a different buff, and they're going to reduce your climb cost, make it easier to scale about. They are also medium armor with an armor value of 72 and pretty high durability, and they're both very light. So they're going to to keep your weight down. If you happen to be using builds with precision strikes or something like that, or you just don't like having heavy armor. Now these fancy looking weapons behind me are no longer as fancy as they once were now that regular Exiled Lands weapons from their dungeons got a little bit of a buff, but they're still really cool and they're pretty to look at. So maybe you just want to skin something with them. They're also worthy to use just by themselves too. These are all just spawned in stats. Again, if you use a bladesmith, these are going to be way better. Starting off with the Incarmine War Axe. We've got its strength weapon, shield smash, health damage of 46, bleed, but on all pokes, even light pokes, armor penetration of 0 because axe. And we have very low durability, but again, with the thrall, this might change a bit, and a medium weight. And they all just look really cool, like I said, so nice to have about as decoration or even as a skin if you don't even like their stats. Next we have the short sword or the Incarmine sword. It is a strength weapon, does cripple, health damage of 43, bleed, and armor pen of 7. Again, a very low durability and a medium weight. Incarmine Warhammer. Strength weapon, Sunder, health damage of 48, bleed, and armor pen of 36. A little bit better durability but still pretty low, and medium weight. Sigils, agility weapon, bleed, armor penetration of 14, and a health of 32. Medium durability for a dagger to be fair, but quite low durability and fairly light. I've seen lighter, I've seen heavier. The longsword or greatsword, strength weapon, cripple, health damage of 54, bleed, and armor penetration of 18, 900 durability, and that 6.56 weight. One of the few armories that actually give you a shield. We have the Incarmine shield, which does bleed reactively, so when you get hit, it will give people bleed. Armor penetration of 10 and a health of 37. Pretty shit durability even for a shield especially, but it does look really cool though. In a garrison blacksmith bench, they're going to all cost you 8 Eldarium to craft and 12 Eldarium in an improved blacksmith bench. And even though I already mentioned it in the other sections, I'll mention it at this point. So I'll mention it again here of what the sigil actually does. And you can also recognize them at a glance by whatever symbol is above the actual vault itself will be the same symbol on the sigil. Again, if you don't want to consume it, you want to see what it does, press more info, and this one will give us otherworldly trait of increased capacity of harvesting resources. So definitely worthy to come get early on. Go along with our vault of the Gremlins, we have the vault of the Goblinoids, the sister vault, giving us also the same decorations, the same Goblinoid armors, as well as Incarmine stuff that I did spawn in, it's just here. Located at the top of 10k, we've got the Refuge of the Goblinoids. The Sigil of the Goblin is actually really nice for surviving just out there because hardiness is actually going to double the duration and triple the effects of the sated and hardiness. Hardiness? Hydration buffs. H words. Getting a little bit more healing and a little bit more life in you. And as the sun finally came out on Siptah. The next vault is the Elder Vault of the Fiend, located at the top of 8k. This is what these guys' decorations look like in here. You get the statue, the divulge chunk, and the sigil insignia rather for the wall. From the Vault of the Fiend, you do only get one armor piece from that armor knowledge, and it is the aspect of the Fiend. Its biggest perk is that it's durable, it's very heavy, and it is heavy armor. Armor value of 192. And it also comes with a pretty decent heat buff, keeping you cooler in hot places. And it looks pretty cool, to be honest. We'll also acquire the Fiend-Bone Armory, which will give us the Fiend-Bone Greatsword. It is a strength weapon with cripple, armor penetration of 21, and health damage of 53. And you'll note their biggest perk to them is they're very durable. The Fiend-Bone Battle Axe. It is a strength weapon, shield smash, armor penetration 0, health damage of 45, and a butt ton of durability, especially for an axe and a medium weight. Honestly, again, they just like look cool even on your wall. The Fiend-Bone Pike. We have strength weapon, reach, armor penetration of 8, health damage of 43, and a butt ton of durability again. And this shield absolutely mogging the Incarmine shield with its durability, but it is a health damage of 37 and armor pen of 12. Fiend-Bone shield, like Dragonbone but infected. And the weapons and the armor cost exactly the same as the Incarmine. Well, Eldarium wise, obviously we've got a few different paddings. At this vault you can also find a lot of silver and red lotus, and a decent chunk of crystal and gold, black ice, and brimstone. Now the Fiend Vault had no twins, but our next two, there are some twins. Our first Wolfman den is the Den of the Wolf Brothers in 8M. we can find some cute little caves, some black eyes. I don't think there's any lotus at this guy, and brimstone. Cute little caves back there. Statue, insignia. I don't think they have a devolved chunk that they can have for a decoration, and they tend to not drop one when harvesting, so if you're looking for that ichor, these guys aren't any good, but you get a lot of hide from them. One of the few armors that actually provide a chest piece. This stuff used to be OP on thralls, so I can't guarantee how it is these days. Let me know in the comments if you use it. The aspect of the wolf is a heavy armor with 312 armor value and the Great Wolf's strength. Great Wolf's strength is essentially a food buff, so if you do put on the helm, it is going to just override your food buff with this guy, and when you take it off, you won't have any buff left. That's why it's nice to have on a thrall, because 15% extra strength and not having to feed them extra foods that do that is nice. Next, the chest of the wolf, we have heavy armor value of 546, and Great Wolf's Rage. Even though it's called Great Wolf's Rage, it's actually Berserker's Rage buff, and giving it will actually make stamina depletion mildly, friend, as depleting your stamina will gain you 50 armor for 5 seconds, and you can kind of continuously do that as long as you deplete your armor again, stamina rather, before the buff wears out. I don't know, if that's for you, it's for you. The Great Wolf weaponry is actually pretty classy looking, not gonna lie. It does mush into this wall a tad bit with its goldy bits. First up, we have the Greatsword of the Great Wolf, giving us cripple, armor penetration, and health damage. You might think, oh, what's their bonus? I actually could not tell you. Don't know. They just look cool. I don't know. The Wolfman bolts were almost an afterthought, it would seem. Next, we have the Great Axe of the Great Wolf. It does a health damage of 64 and armor of 0. It's a two-handed weapon and medium durability. Daggers of the Great Wolf. We got agility, weapon, bleed, armor penetration of 14, health damage of 32, and pretty poop durability, but most daggers are. And then the Claws of the Great Wolf. We have 30 agility weapon, 37 armor, health damage, and 6 health. God, I can't speak. 37 health damage and 6 armor penetration. If you do like riding a mount about, this one could be for you. The Sigil of the Wolf Brother is going to get you to coax more out of your mount, meaning it's going to give you 100 extra stamina for that mount. The Den of the Wolfmen is the twin Elder Vault for the Wolfmen. Pretty similar looking environment. Similar things you can farm, only this one you can get Red Lotus here, as well as a lot of very purple flowies. The same decorations, same armor, and same weapons come from here. The Sigil of the Wolfmen is much more straightforward with what it gives you, less riddles and more actual answers. And for every enemy you kill, you're going to gain a bit of health. The Vault of the Matt Damon. Smack bang, pretty much right in the middle of 9-8 and 0. Oh cool, it's raining again. We have this pretty cool statue. Their little clawy bits, just there. And their armory bit. Give you a better look at it. Ooh, so horny. It is a light armor piece with 60 health bonus and 15 concussive damage and an armor value of 42. It used to also give us a stamina bonus and survivability bonus, but they pooped that away. Unless they are super hidden stats somewhere, I can't see any difference regarding those. Almost didn't show you the wall insignia. There you are. This one happens to be fairly cheap to craft with only 6 Eldarium in an improved armorer's bench and 4 in a garrison. The weapons of Nergal, again, look super bloody pretty. And I think the only armory that gives you the ability to get a throwing axe. And this axe, he only one axe, he'll keep returning until his durability is gone. Remember which buttons to bloody throw the guy? Yeah, just keep throwing him about. You can't pick him up or nothing. It's pretty cool. And every time you use him, his durability will go down there. If you happen to have a single-handed weapon, you can dual wield with them. It does work a little bit better with an axe. Let me whip that guy out. You kind of start getting all spinny, and then you can throw it at your enemy as they're escaping. He starts off with 675 durability. Obviously, if you use a better durability blacksmith, maybe like the Tempersmith, you're going to get even better, but probably still use the Bladesmith. 34 armor damage and 0 armor pen. The Axe of Nergal. The Axe of Nergal has the extra exhausting on it as well, so it's going to drain some stamina when you hit them. It is a strength weapon. We have health damage of 46 and armor penetration of 0 and a pretty mediocre durability. Next, the Sword of Nergal. It is a strength weapon, also has exhausting, health damage and cripple, 43 and 7 armor pen. We have the Spear of Nergal, a strength weapon. It has reach, health damage of 43, medium durability, exhausting, armor pen. Pretty cool to look at. The Great Sword, strength weapon, cripple, health damage of 54, exhausting, armor penetration of 18. And we already showed you the Throwing Axe of Nergal. The Sigil is about as another handy one for PvP, but it can be fun for PvE because it's going to boost your jump height and distance after running for, I think it's 3 seconds, and does in fact stack with Extended Leap. There is only one Bat Demon Vault, so let's move on to the Snake Vaults. Located in 10M, the Sanctuary of the Snakemen. Bit of a different vibe than the other ones, but you can still get that black ice and not so much brimstone around here. A little bit of black, very little bit of black ice. These guys also tend to drop Serpent Man weapons when you kill them, and they're pretty easy to take down early on, so it is a nice way to get up a pretty decent bit of weaponry by just taking out the few guys inside the door. And the Asylum of the Fiend, with its skeletons predominantly, they drop a lot of hardened steel stuff, so maybe you've gone there and then you come here, or you've gone to one of the camps. There's so many weapons that drop on this map, but anyway, I digress. Get a little fingery hand statue. It's pretty gross. We get this cute snake statue. Cute is probably not the apt word, but yeah, this insignia. And for the Snakemen armor, we have boots and gloves. They used to be some of the best armor when light was ultimate meta, and there was an equivalent stuff that you could potentially get. They're still fairly decent. The boots being light armor, as I mentioned, an armor value of 21 and carry capacity of 45. Very low durability though, also very light. The braces of the Serpent are light armor value of 21 and a strength weapon damage bonus of 6. We also have a couple of weapons we can learn from this vault and the other Snakeman vault. The Snakeman weaponry. They have the acidic buff, so they'll actually drain durability from armor, even on thralls, I'm pretty sure. Haven't tested that in a while, but acidic arrows work on thralls, so these probably should still too. So if you're sick and tired of a whole bunch of thralls wearing their gas helmets and they're not dying, use acidic weapons or arrows. The daggers are agility weapon with bleed, health damage of 32, acidic, and armor penetration, and pretty regular durability. We also have some chakrams. The Serpent's chakrams was one of the first chakrams we really kind of had access to. Siptah kind of opened up that world for us with agility weapon, bleed, health damage of 34, acidic, and armor pen of 7. And the short sword, bleed, health damage of 32, also acidic, and armor penetration of 14. The acidic effect is also going to like essentially poison people as well as get rid of their durability, so we'll do some health damage along with getting rid of armor durability. And they all cost about what you'd expect. Would be kind of fun if, like, you know, they required some snake skin or something. We used to have a lot more variety in what it costs to craft weapons and armor, and now it's all very minimalized down, which is good and user-friendly, but also gets a bit mundane after a while, you know? The Sigil of the Snakemen is a rather handy one to have if you've got a lot of pokey people who love the bleed effects, because it will periodically cleanse you of the bleed effects or lessen it on a timer. You'll just keep going through and reducing that. The Snakemen do in fact have sister vaults. The next one is a little bit harder to get to, as you do have to fight your way through the Goblin City. There will be lots of skeletons, but once you get here you can get some Black Lotus, some Blowies, bunch of boxes about, almost on the line of 910C. This whole area is full of bosses and things to do, so advise checking out my separate guide on that if hopefully it's released upon your viewing of this. If not, check out my area guides and hopefully you'll find it there at some point. It's going to offer you that same Snakeman decorations, armor, and weapons. With this sigil, the Sigil of the Serpent, much like our other Serpent sigil, it will cleanse us, but this time from poison rather than bleed. Also very, very nice to have. Our next vault is the Demesne of the Demon Spider in 9F. And as the name implied, there are spiders here, so if you're arachnophobic, be warned. They come in all sizes. You get some big demonic Kakashi ones. They're the type of guys who will drop the divulged pieces and Red Lotus everywhere. Also, more likely the type of guy who will drop the Decaying Eldarium. All spiders in the area will drop Ica and Gossamer. The trophy is one of the cooler trophies, not gonna lie. And this statue is also pretty flash. Not too scary if you're afraid of spiders. It just looks like actually more of a giant praying mantis. The insignia. This also rather horny helmet used to be also very, very good. It is way less good now, as it is light armor, also has 42 armor value, and it is dense, giving it a lot of armor durability. It also weighs a fuck ton. These are another of those that I find look cooler than they are actually useful. So with the spear, we have the Pike of the Outer Dark. It is a strength weapon. It has reach, heal, health damage of 43, does some sunder, and armor penetration of 7. They all do sunder, by the way, but so does Dragonbone, and it doesn't cost Healtharium. And yes, it is a little bit less health damage, sure, well, almost 10, but it's also a lot cheaper. So keep that in mind if you are getting it just for its sunder effect. It maybe not the best weapon you can get in the world. They do look really cool, and they used to be awesome before Dragonbone had sunder effect. I digress. The Greatsword of the Outer Dark, strength weapon, cripple, health damage of 54, sunder, and armor penetration of 18. The Daggers of the Outer Dark also used to be very flashy. Well, still not too bad, because that's sunder on every hit. Oof. Agility weapon, bleed, health damage of 32, armor penetration of 14, and pretty poopy durability on all of these, pretty mediocre. The Axe of the Outer Dark. Shield smash, strength weapon, health damage of 46, sunder, armor penetration of 0. Compared to Dragonbone, yeah, right, they are a little bit more perked now, buffed now. I don't know. They used to be a lot more on par for health damage as well, but they can't change everything around so much all the time. But hey, I suppose that's why you're here watching guides. And the One-Handed Sword of the Outer Dark does cripple, 43, health damage, sunder, and armor penetration of 7. Oh my god, the sun's out again. Glorious, glorious times. The Sigil of the Demon is going to give you roughly about a 45% decrease in all running and stamina consumption, battle, all of that. Really nice one to have. To be fair, the vast majority of them are really nice ones to have. Its sister vault is located a little bit further away in the north of the map in I-12, but in saying that, it is one of the easiest ones to get to with teleporting from the exiled lands using the Adherents of the Outer Dark. If you don't have any other teleport options over here at the moment, you can eventually place map rooms and teleportation stones and whatnot, but it's pretty quick and easy to just boop on over here. We're going to get those same Outer Dark weapons and demonic helm, but its sigil will remove corruption every 5 seconds. Sorry, every 20 seconds rather. It removes 5% of your corruption. So if you don't have a dancer available, or you think you're going to go on a big ass adventure that might be a little bit corrupty and you're not using those perks, handy. Our next vault also has a sister, so we won't go into its armor and all of that, but a different sigil. This one is the Volary, can't speak words, of Jhil in 11F. It has super skexy bat-looking creatures. I reckon they look scarier than the Jhil in the Exiled Lands for sure though as well. They're messed up. You do get a cool little feather decoration for this guy's vault, its insignia, and the Harpy statue. I'm also not 100% sure if this is the statue or if there's another statue, and also very likely there could be 2 different statues, and this is the only vault that does that. It's been a while and I spawned these things in. Bear with me. We will also get the Jhil armor, or the aspect of the Jhil, which is a light armor with agility weapon damage bonus of 6. Also gives you fleet foot and an armor value of 42. Fleet foot pretty much reduces your stamina of jumping. I'm not sure if it's actually also running, by half. And now we no longer have quick footed. It's extra fancy to have. And the gloves of the Jhil. They're light armor, their armor value of 21, and they've got Jhil stamina. Jhil stamina regenerates your stamina by 3 every second, while your health percentage is greater than your stamina. So as long as you're staying healthy, your stamina will continue regenerating with a little boost. And they're both fairly light in weight. Not too bad with durability. Next we have the Featherlight weaponry. Its bonus, as its name implies, is that it's very, very light. We have the first, the Featherlight chakrams, agility weapon blade, armor penetration of 8, and health of 32. Pretty-ish, decent, durability. The bow, Featherlight bow, agility, health damage of 18, and armor pen of 8. Also very, very light. We have the Featherlight battle axe, an armor pen of 43, decentish durability. Considering I didn't craft these, they're quite random, and pretty lightweight. Also a strength weapon. The Featherlight daggers, agility, bleed, armor penetration of 17, and health of 30, and also very light. The sigil of the Jhil brood will increase your ability to survive long falls. Like it says, it will reduce fall damage. The Volary of the Harpy is in 10E, just a little bit south from the other Jhil Harpy vault. I'm not 100% sure if I got the melons twisted with the statues, but you can get this guy as well, and the insignia. The armor is also mildly different. One of the few vaults that will have a different armor whilst being kind of a sister vault. We have the claws of the Harpy. They're light, they're durable, and their armor value is 16. And their main perk really just being durable and weighing nothing. The weaponry consists of the Harpy daggers, agility, bleed, cripple, and armor penetration of 14, and health damage of 32. We have the Harpy spear, strength weapon with reach and cripple, armor penetration of 7, and a health damage of 43, pretty medium weight and durability. And the bow of the Harpy. It is agility bow, 19 health damage and 7 armor pen, pretty mediocre everywhere else. And we also get the Harpy's kiss arrows with 19 health damage and 14 armor pen, and you can grab those. And our last two vaults involve the drowned. A lot of water, a lot of swimming. You're going to probably want to bring a swimming mask with you. You will eventually get one from coming in here, but some swimming potions, swimming masks can be advisable because a little wet inside, a little bit wet inside for sure. We will get a cool insignia, a cool statue, actually one of my favorite statues out of a lot of them. I like the little frilly head, and their divulge chunk plith. From their armor, we will gain the aspect of the drowned. It is a water breathing mask, it is medium, and an armor of 143. We will get the fists of the drowned. Their medium armor, health of 40, agility weapon damage 6, and armor value of 72. They also have pretty decent cold and health bonuses. I've been failing to mention those, but hopefully you've been noticing along the way. And the fins of the drowned, medium armor, armor value of 72, and give the cleansing effect. Cleansing helps to get rid of things like alcohol poisoning and noxious gas while wearing. And then some of the prettiest looking stuff, I think, for weapon skins, but also they do extra bonus poison damage, so maybe. We got the Froxic gear. Starting off with the Warhammer. It is a strength, it does sunder, it's poisoned, its armor damage is 36, and its health is 45. Pretty decent everywhere else. The Froxic War Axe. Strength weapon, shield smash, health damage of 46, poisoned, armor penetration 0. The Froxic Pike. Strength weapon, reach, health damage of 43, poisoned, armor pen of 7. The Froxic Greatsword. Cripple, health damage of 54, poisoned, armor penetration of 18. The Froxic Daggers. Bleed, poison, health damage of 30, and armor pen of 14. And the Froxic Bow, health damage and armor pen, and I don't believe it anymore like poisons when shot, it's just another bow now. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. The Sigil of the Drowned is going to scale your carry capacity as your health gets lower, so if you use a corrupted build, this could actually be handy for you, as your health is always technically lower. But it gets up to 50% carry capacity. The Harbour of the Drowned is located in the very corner of E12. The sister vault of the Drowned is the Harbour of the Twice Drowned. Who would have guessed it? Again, bring a water breathing mask. It's needed potentially in this one. I actually can't remember which one it is, but check out my guides so you can find out. It's going to offer the same type of stuff in regards to decorations and weapons, but it's Sigil. Consuming it grants a 20% chance to perform a free weapon attack that doesn't consume any stamina. Super flashy. The Harbour of the Twice Drowned is in 7E. Now you might be thinking, I could have sworn there was a sigil I could eat that would reduce my chances of losing sigils when I die. Well, yeah, there was. They changed it, but if in case you were wondering and you're not losing your mind, it used to be the sigil of the Fiend. That's why I used to come here pretty much second every time, but I switched around the orders a little bit and I put the sister goblin vault next to each other in the guide. Anyway, I digress. Hopefully you found this guide informative. Check out my independent Siptah guides and vault guides if you need an actual walkthrough. I got a whole ton of other Conan Exile guides and other survival games that I play. Hit that subscribe button if you're not already. It means a bunch. Become a channel member if you're looking for other ways to support the channel. You get a bunch of perks, and I'm growing on making even more. You get to play on our server, extra videos a month, things like that. Hit that like button if this video was informative. Stick around for some of those extra guides, and until next time, I hope you have an excellent day, evening, night, morning, whatever it may be, wherever you may be. Have a good one.